Come back over here. Come back over here. Come back over here. Hey! Dang it. You went the wrong way. Here. That's why I got a case in my phone. Hey everybody, welcome back. As you saw earlier, we had a little dog camera trouble. So we'll see. I got a phone case in my lens and one of my covers is broken. So we'll see how it records. But we're going to get ready to take this pup for a walk. Get out in the desert before it gets too dark. And we're going to take this video and we'll take time to give you my 6 reasons why I like the Quartzsite area and the area I'm in. So let's get this pup for a walk. Come on, let's go. Don't knock over the camera again. Come on. Well, I had to change my lens cover out because, as you can see here, got a little damage. That's what they're there for, to protect the lens, and it did. It broke the edge and cracked across 2 lenses, so got a new one. So let's go walking. As we walk around the desert, this is be number 1. Now, these are not in any kind of ranking numbers, so 1 through 6 is just what I thought of. But the first one I'm thinking about is just the location and the history of this area. I know there's history all over the world. Locations are great all over the world. But to me, since I'm the one out here, the desert location is just, it's kind of mystifying. It's, if you haven't been out in the desert, you either like it or you don't. I like it. But the whole area in the Southwest, is somewhat new. You got to think about it. The east side of the country is a little bit older, and all the history out here is a little bit newer. So you got to think, just about 100 plus years ago, 120, 30 years ago, this was wild, wild west. You know, men and women and people were out here with guns on their hips and their horses pulling them around, fighting off savages and the elements and rattlesnakes and other things. Well, you know, times nowadays, people still have guns on their hips. The horses are now under the hood of their vehicle, and they're still fighting off rattlesnakes and desert dry and different things. But it's just a beautiful location. And the history, this whole area, we'll talk more as we get a little further into the desert. Well, let me clarify a bit. The Southwest is old. Modern day society in the Southwest is not that old. 1800s or so. Not that old. But I like the history of this area. And I like being immersed in the area for more than a few days or a few weeks. I'm here for 6-7 months. I can kind of check things out whenever I have time, and whenever I feel like going, getting around looking for things. I like coming out to this area. This is one of my favorite areas in the desert because I'm parked just shortly away. I can see the bus from here, so I like coming out here because this is part of history. And part of the history of Quartzsite goes back to a man named Hajj Ali, which is known as Hajj Ali. I did some research, and Hajj Ali was a group of 8 Middle Eastern camel drivers that came over in the 1850s. The U.S. Department of Army, U.S. Army hired 8 camel drivers, and they bought 33 camels. And they brought everything over here. So what they're doing, they're going to utilize the camels as pack animals in this barren desert at that point, which there was nothing out here, to carry equipment and the supplies they came from Texas, and they wound up in California. They did from what I read, a successful complete run in that time period, 1860 something. And then 1864 came around before everything really got going, and the war was starting up, the Civil War was starting up, so the funding was cut for the Camel Corps program. And they also had problems with the camels, not the camels themselves. The horses, the mules, and the burros didn't like the camels because they were big and you know, so there's a contrast between the animals, so they didn't get along, and the funding got cut, and then the war started. So anyway, the Camel Corps ended in 1864. But this was, like I said, a pilot program that they brought in, the Army got started, and didn't work. After the camel program quit, they took the camels to California and Texas and sold them off, auctioned them off. So they were no longer around. But, yeah, and Haj Ali actually was stayed on with the U.S. Army in a mat. He was a scout, and he came back to Quartzsite in the late 1800s and was a Army scout and also did some mining. He did pass away here in 1902, and he is buried in the Haj Ali Cemetery. So that's his claim to fame, this area. So he wasn't actually in this area the entire time. So the Camel Corps did not start in Quartzsite. It was basically part of the Southwest system, and they probably came through Quartzsite in that time period, going from Texas to California. But I should have been a historian, right? I like history stuff. It's something that you can, you know, put numbers and dates, and you can live it, be right here. But yeah, this is one of my favorite places to come out in the desert and look around, because this is the Williams Halsey Mill. It's not a mine. You can look on Google and you can find it under old mine number 2, Quartzsite. It's a mill. So what they would do, they would bring in ore. Let me find some things here. See if I can pick one up without getting stuck by a rattlesnake. I think we're good. Okay, all right, no snakes under there. Bring in the ore, the rocks, the minerals, etc. from another mine that was about 10 or 12 miles away. They'd come in and they would dump it into the upper hopper. And then this stuff was extra. It'd either fall out or it'd get blown out the side. And it would go through and it would get crushed in different points, and crushed and crushed and crushed. And then down at the very bottom down here is where they would collect all of the minerals that were in the ore they were crushing. What were they looking for? Tungsten. Tungsten was what they're looking for. They also found gold and silver and some others, but more what they found was tungsten. Tungsten is a very hard metal. You may have heard of tungsten before. Tungsten carbide, tungsten tools, it's screwdrivers, saws, drill bits. It's put in light filaments for electrodes inside the lights. It was used for x-ray tubes. It was used for the extra heavy metal was used for armor-piercing bullets for the war, and tanks and artillery. And there's also, most people may be using it right now. What are you using it for? Tungsten is also used for the little motor inside your phone that makes it vibrate. So, you didn't know that, did you? I didn't either. But now we do. But this was part of the history of the Southwest and the area that I'm in, the Quartzsite area. But I just love it. Just to come out here, stand around here, look. It may look like a piece of junk now, you know, but after so many years, it turns into a historical structure and a historical landmark. And everything down here are historical artifacts. And this property was taken over by the BLM in, I think, in 1983. So this belongs to the U.S. government under the Bureau of Land Management, and they maintain the whole area. So this is their historical landmark and structure. So nothing can be done out here without them authorizing it, either cleaning up, rebuilding it, and you're not supposed to even take anything out of here because it's a historical artifact. So, yeah, that's just some of the history of this area. Just like it out here. Don't you? Do you like it out here, bud? Nope. You rather have it snow? Yeah. Yep. But that's just part of the history of this area. And that's one thing I like about being in the Quartzsite area, in the desert. And we'll go on with other things here on my list of things I like about the Quartzsite area. We're just panning around the area here. This is the mill, and this is part of the system where it go down and go through the hoppers and get crushed, and then probably in that thing there was the final water bath hopper where they would dump it over into whatever vehicle was waiting there to collect the tungsten and the other minerals that would be in there with it and haul it off to the refinery. There's the town of Quartzsite. Q Mountains there on the left. And there's Quartzsite, I-10 running through the middle of Quartzsite. I think there's a Plumosa Mountains in the background, and this is La Paz Mountains, La Paz Valley. So it's all through here. It's a beautiful area. Another thing I like is the location. Modern day location. Here is this map, again, right here of Arizona. We are right down. Where are we at? Where are we at? That's a good question. Right down. Let me find this on the map. I don't think we're there. Yeah, we are. I found it. Finally, right over here. Quartzsite. Right there. And would you believe the entire state of Arizona only has 5 counties? Yeah. Arkansas had 72, and we're a smaller state. But yeah, this is a location. That's what I like about modern day. We're here. We're 20 miles from California, 2 hours in Phoenix, 4 hours from Vegas, and 2 hours from Mexico. So you can be in a lot of places in this area pretty quick, within a couple hours. And if you like shopping or whatever, or, you know, big city life, you could be there. But I like being out in the desert. For one thing, like I showed you, the history and the remnants and things that are around here. Also like the climate. Now the climate here in the desert, like I said, where we're located on the southwest map, is wintertime. I'm going to give you just kind of rough estimates. Between 32 to 55 in like January, December, in that area. Summertime, the other side of the spectrum, 80 to 120. So you've got to either one or the other. That's why so many people come down here in the wintertime, because it's a comfortable wintertime. I left Utah where it was already, had frost on the ground in the mountains, and it was already below freezing. And I come down here and it's 80 degrees, 4 hours away. So that's one reason I like the area, the climate. So come in for the wintertime, I go to Utah in the summertime where it's higher, it's cooler. So basically me and Zen are going from cool to cool. And it really messes up my time, because I think this is summertime, and when I get to Utah, I think it's wintertime. But it's the opposite. This is wintertime. This is almost November, and it's like almost 90 degrees, okay? It will get cooler next month. It'll drop down to 80 will be the high, more comfortable, and in December, 60 to 80, in January, like I said, 50 to 60, maybe a few 40s, but not too bad. But that's one reason I like this area, is the climate and the location. So that's the second reason. And you got to remember this. They only get about 3 inches of rain per year out here. It's a desert. It really is a desert. So sometimes they get less than that. Sometimes they get more than that. But the average is about 3 inches of rain here in Quartzsite. So right now they've had about, I think they've had about the quota for the year. So we'll see what happens. You think? You like the cool weather tonight? Yeah. And one thing I like about the area is shopping. And you're probably thinking, like, how in the world do you like shopping in a town that's in the middle of nowhere? It kind of is in the middle of nowhere, but as you saw in the other one, LA's 4 hours that way, Phoenix 2 hours that way, Vegas 4 hours that way, Mexico and Yuma an hour and a half, 2 hours that way. So you can be someplace and go shopping and shop in the big box stores and the boutiques and all the other things. I'm not a big city person. I'd rather be small town, rural, It's kind of the way I was raised and grown up for many, many years. And I like the small town. I like shopping local if I can, because I was business in local, and you depend on the locals. But yeah, you can go to the big box stores. You know, it's not feasible for me to drive to Yuma for 3 hours and pick up 4 or 5 2x4s and save $10. I can just go here and get it, and I'm done in 5 minutes. But yeah, I do like shopping local. I mean, I do shop at the Family Dollar and the Dollar General here in the town. But you know, they're nationwide, but they're owned by local or small family groups, not big corporations. They have a franchise, but so they're kind of local. And I like shopping at the grocery stores, the Coyote and the Roadrunner, and then going to the solar places and getting coffee shops and the restaurants and the market and the hardware stores and gas stations and all the stuff that's here. I just like it. It's easier for me to get around, and you feel less pressurized. I do by shopping local. And yeah, I mean, the Quartzsite's about a town of 2,500 on the average in the summertime. Wintertime, they say, goes up to 1 million. In my own opinion, I don't think so. I don't think this town can handle 1 million people. I mean, in January, there's a lot of people here, but I'm going to say it's probably a couple 100,000, not 2 million. Maybe people driving through an Interstate 10, possible. But I mean, in January, when you come in, when everything around Quartzsite is picking up, ramping up, all the shows, all the RV things, all the etc., you might go to the Family Dollar and you'll have 6 people in front of you in 2 lines. I mean, it's much different than going to the Walmart or somewhere like that and having 10 people in front of you in 30 lines. So, yeah, I kind of like shopping local and shopping small. And Zen doesn't care as long as he gets his dog treats. And everybody's got dog treats, so we're good there. Another thing I like about Quartzsite area is the isolationism. You're isolated out here to a point. I mean, you can stay out in the desert and not be seen for a long time. You know, if you don't want to visit with anybody, you don't have to. If you want to go to town and go to the adult daycare or senior center or pizza place or go to the park, do dog, whatever you want to do, you could. But if you want to hide out in the desert, you could. Or you can, mention before, get out and go places. You can do that. Usually for me, I come out here and I pretty much find a spot and I'm here. I may go to town once every couple of weeks. And usually I may not see anybody, do my shopping local, and come back out and hide in the desert. It's a place you can come out and you can disappear, let your thoughts wander, and just ponder your universe and your life's existence in the universe if you want to. You can come out here, you can paint pictures, you can take pictures, you can walk, you can look at the sunsets, you can look at the birds, listen for the coyotes, look at the moon, look at the stars. There's so much things that, to me, fits in. Like this, and I mentioned before, it may not be for everybody. It's not for everybody. If you like it or you don't like it. There's probably not much in between. So I happen to like it. I'm one of those people who likes being kind of off to myself. I like the Utah when I go there. I'm in the campground after it closes or before it opens. I'm the only one there with my dog. I got the whole place to myself. It's almost the same feeling out here. You almost got the whole place to yourself, or at least a good chunk of it. Yeah, you'll see some people once in a while, but that's what I'm going to like about the next part. I did say that these weren't in any kind of ranking orders, but this next one would probably be number 1. Community. The YouTube community, the Facebook community, Instagram community, social media community, the nomad community. Of all things, this is what I really like coming back down here, because it's almost like, if you're in school and you're gone all summer and you come back and you get to tell all your friends about what you did all summer. Kind of the same way here. Most people are gone for 6, 7 months, and they come back, and you get to find out what everybody did over the summer, where they went, if you want to. Some people may not want to talk about it, and some people might want to be alone. But anyway, the community is down here. The town of Quartzsite is very nomad RV friendly for even parking bigger rigs on certain places. Everybody's friendly in all the buildings you go to. The people at the vendors' tents down here are all very welcoming and very nice about the nomad community. Of course, that makes up a lot of their business too. So they have to look into that as a business adventure. But just being out here, I've been out here for 2 weeks now. And the first day I got here, we were going down the road the next morning. Well, the second day, the next morning we were going down the road, and this subscriber that's right down here, I forgot his name. I'm really bad at names anymore, so forgive me if I don't mention your name. It stopped and said, "Hey, you're back." Yep, we're back. So we got to visit for a few minutes, and then went on down the road, and another probably half a mile, and I heard another guy say, "Hey, you're out of the mountains." So, yep. And then we walked around, and we heard this very familiar bass voice. "Howdy, neighbor." Blue Van Dan came out of his bus and waved at us, and we talked for about a half an hour or so. And then we got to visit other people. I got to run into Lori from Lori's Way, which is going to get a lot of stuff out of my bus, thank goodness, for her free pile that she gives away to other nomads. If you need something or take something, buy some either way. And then what else? I met some subscribers in town. One man was named Sean, I believe. Met him at Family Dollar when my bus was not start. Hey, Sean. And met one subscriber yesterday with his dog up at Dollar General. And who else? Everywhere. People just, they recognize from being on YouTube. And I've had a couple people come in to my camp, which you're welcome to do. And got to visit with them for a while. They brought Zen some treats, and the one couple were from Oklahoma, which is not far from where I was at. So we got to visit with them. And I do want to thank my friends Jim and Karen. They also came in and brought me over, thank goodness, a slightly used Blackstone grill with a bonus air fryer. Jim, if you're watching that, I've already put it to use, and I'm going to use the heck out of that thing. Fajitas were wonderful on it. And got to visit with them for a while. I've known them for a couple of years. As a matter of fact, this was their old spot right here when I first got here 2 years ago. So it's just the community. If you need something, you don't have to go very far. People are willing to come out and help. They're all like-minded people out here. I mean, they're all nomads. They're all on the road. They all have certain issues with solar, vehicle issues, animal issues, people issues, whatever. But they all get along. They all get along. And there's people from all kinds of life. I mean, from people who live out here just to survive. And then you have people out here in their $500,000 motorhomes. So everybody gets along. I mean, it seems to be. I know there's crime in the area and there's all this, but there's crime everywhere. But yeah, the like-minded community out here, and it's just nice to visit with people that I haven't seen in several months, or may have followed on Instagram or something. I saw Murph, the Wizard, the Courage of the Cowardly Bus, a couple of days ago. He's back over here, and we got to visit with him for a while. We've known him for a couple of years now. And he's actually the one where I got my job in Utah from the company I work for. He was actually working for them, and he pushed me over that way towards them. So that's one reason why I'm working where I'm at. Thanks, Murph. But it's just a community, and it's so inviting. And if you don't want to be part of your community to a certain point, as I mentioned before, you can hide out. You can isolate yourself, out in the desert. You don't have to be around everybody. But if you want to, there's all kinds of things to do for the community out here. There's a drum circle. There's which is not everybody's cup of tea. There are like handouts and free tables and different things. And there's music, and you can go into town and visit different places in there. So there's a lot of things that you have to, you be in the right mind for it. Like I said before, you either like it or you don't. There's probably not going to be much in between. But that is one of the top reasons I like coming out here, is just community, the people, the fellowship, the storytelling, the adventures, the way of life. We're all in this area that we're close, probably in the same range, probably 20 years in the age range. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot of young people out here. There's a few. There's a lot of older people. There's a lot of people in that middle group. Middle is like 40s to 70s. Okay, that's middle group. But yeah, it's just an interesting place. And the community, what brings me back, it brings a lot of people back when you talk to them or hear them on different things, like what brings you down here. And they say, well, it's the people I missed from being last year. And it's the people that I've met over the years. It's the people that I'm going to meet. It's the people this, it's people that. So a lot of it is people oriented, and a lot of it is just getting out and doing your community. So that's going to be that topic. And this would probably be my favorite part of being in the Quartzsite area in the desert. The magnificent sunsets that go on and on and on, and never, ever do you see the same sunset twice. It's always a work of art. Pictures are made of it. Paintings are made of it. It's just a beautiful feeling to see nature at its finest. Mother Nature, the power of the universe, the world, everything happening right in front of your eyes. And then in a few minutes, darkness. But the sunsets in Arizona, in the desert, for me, really are outstanding. And I'm going to put in a few pictures here at the end of some of the other sunsets that I've taken from the last couple of years that will put this sunset to shame. And with that, we'll say thanks everybody for watching on my 6 things I liked about Quartzsite. I may put up a video of the things I do not like about Quartzsite at some point, kind of offset, and give you both sides of the spectrum. So thanks again for watching. Zen and I thank you, and we'll be seeing you guys on Around the Desert.